Did you know Nintendo was once a playing card company? Imagine Mario and Luigi as your god of gamblers throwing cards all night and avoiding loan sharks. Yes, you heard it right, folks. Before it was all about warp pipes and princesses, Nintendo dabbled in a little bit of everything. Picture this: Donkey Kong, not as a barrel-throwing ape, but as a loan shark debt collector, rampaging in every debtor's homes. Or how about Mario running and jumping away from Donkey Kong, rolling barrels, avoiding paying his debts? Yeah, that was a thing too. Truly, Nintendo was the jack of all trades, master of none. You see, it wasn't always about stomping Goombas and collecting coins for our beloved Nintendo. There were playing cards and toys producer, yes, you heard it right, toys, which led them to creating their very first beam gun toy. In 1970, the company's stock listing was promoted, and this was the year that represented a watershed moment in Nintendo's history as it released Japan's first electronic toy, an optoelectronic pistol designed by Masayuki Uemura. The beam gun toy sold more than 1 million units, and it was a huge success. Seeing the huge turning point, Nintendo partnered with Magnavox to provide a light gun controller based on the beam gun design for the company's new home video game console. But the gaming gods had other plans for Nintendo, and thank goodness for that. But enough of the playing cards business, let's dive into the world where Nintendo truly made its mark. Nintendo went from playing cards to playing games, and boy did they play their cards right. After the huge success of the beam gun, enter the Game & Watch, Nintendo's first foray into the world of video games. This handheld gaming device, released in 1980, was a game changer. Not only did it introduce the world to the concept of gaming on the go, but it also featured games that would become a classic, like Octopus, Popeye, Ball, Flagman, Manhole, and many others. A few years later, Nintendo struck gold with the release of the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES as we fondly know it. The NES became a household name, and it brought us some of the most iconic games of all time, like Super Mario Bros. And The Legend of Zelda. It was a clear sign that Nintendo was no longer just a card company, but every success story has its setbacks. Enter the Virtual Boy, Nintendo's attempt at bringing virtual reality to the masses in 1995. This red and black headset promised a 3D gaming experience, but ended up causing more headaches than excitement. It was a commercial flop and a reminder that not all that glitters is gold. Yet Nintendo didn't let this hiccup slow them down. They bounced back with the Game Boy, a device that would revolutionize handheld gaming. The Game Boy brought us Pokémon, a franchise that would become a global phenomenon, and it solidified Nintendo's place in the gaming industry. So from cards to cartridges, Nintendo had its fair share of stumbles, but it was just warming up. Nintendo didn't just play the game, they changed it. And now that's a game changer indeed. Now let's take a little stroll down memory lane, shall we? Remember the first time you laid your hands on a gaming handheld? Chances are it was a Nintendo. And that little plus sign looking thing you used to move Mario around, that's what we call a D-pad, my friends. And guess who introduced that? You got it, Nintendo? But let's not stop there. Remember those shoulder buttons that you used to lob a shell at your best friend in Mario Kart? Yep, you can thank Nintendo for that too. They were the first to implement shoulder buttons on their controllers, changing the way we play games and adding an extra layer of complexity and fun. And let's not forget about motion controls. Remember swinging your arm like a tennis pro while playing Wii Sports? Or how about the time you almost knocked over your mom's favorite vase while boxing? Nintendo was the one that brought that level of immersion and physicality into our living rooms. They made us jump, swing, and sweat, all in the name of good fun. But it wasn't just about the hardware for Nintendo. No, sir, they had a unique approach to game design too. While other companies were chasing after the latest, greatest, most realistic graphics, Nintendo had a different goal in mind. They focused on fun. They believed that games should be enjoyable, engaging, and accessible to everyone. They weren't concerned with how realistic the water looked in Super Mario Sunshine. They wanted you to have a blast spraying that water all over the place, and boy did they succeed. From the whimsical worlds of the Mushroom Kingdom to the challenging puzzles of The Legend of Zelda, Nintendo games are synonymous with fun. And it's this commitment to enjoyment over everything else that has helped them to stand the test of time. Nintendo might not have had the flashiest graphics or the most powerful consoles, but they sure knew how to throw a fun gaming party. Fast forward to today, and Nintendo is still playing the game, and no, they haven't run out of lives yet. Nintendo has found new ways to thrive in the modern gaming landscape, and they're not just coasting on nostalgia. Take the Nintendo Switch, for example. It's a hybrid console that you can play on your TV or take on the go. Its flexibility and unique design have made it a hit with gamers worldwide, and it has sold over 70 million units since its launch in 2017. And let's not forget about the games. Nintendo's never been one to shy away from pushing the envelope. Whether you're exploring the vast lands of Hyrule in Breath of the Wild or creating your own virtual paradise in Animal Crossing: New Horizons, there's no shortage of innovative and fun experiences to be had. But Nintendo's not just about the hardware and software. They're about creating experiences that bring people together. They're about those late-night Mario Kart races with friends, those epic Smash Bros. Battles, and those quiet moments spent fishing in Animal Crossing. It's this commitment to fun and community that keeps gamers coming back for more. And so, what's next for Nintendo? Well, that's anyone's guess. They've always marched to the beat of their own drum, and that's not likely to change anytime soon. Nintendo may not always be the king of the console wars, but they're definitely the joker of the pack, always ready to surprise us. So there you have it, folks. Nintendo's wild ride from gamblers to toads, and they're not hitting the brakes anytime soon. In a nutshell, we've seen Nintendo's transition from playing cards to playing games, their game-changing innovations, and their undying commitment to fun. They've proven time and again that it's not about chasing the cutting edge, but rather creating a universe where imagination reigns supreme. In the world of Nintendo, it doesn't matter if you're shooting for the stars or just trying to avoid a Koopa shell. It's all about the fun of the game. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a date with a princess in another castle.